In the quaint estate of Shamrock Meadows in County Wicklow, Ireland, tenants lived side by side, sharing everything from backyard gossip to utility bills. The estate, a cluster of small townhouses, had once been a picture of neighborly warmth and cooperation, especially during holiday gatherings and shared barbecues in the summer. The housing authority had equipped each block with a single utility meter, expecting residents to split their energy costs fairly and amicably, a system that seemed to work fine until the bitter winter of 2023 arrived. That winter, temperatures dropped to historic lows, and heating systems were on round the clock with energy prices already high. The latest heating bill, an amount nearly twice what anyone had seen before, arrived like an unwanted guest at the doorstep. The sudden jump in cost stunned the residents of Block B, who shared one of the larger meters. Some tenants, already struggling to make ends meet, felt the blow more acutely than others. Liam O'Sullivan, a 60-year-old retired mechanic who prided himself on living modestly, was the first to speak up. He was meticulous with his expenses, known around the estate for saving every euro he could. Each night, he would unplug his appliances and bundle up in blankets to save on heating. So, when he saw the bill, he was certain someone else was using far more than their share of electricity. "Sure, I'm not paying for everyone's luxuries," Liam declared, waving the bill at his neighbors who had gathered in the common area. "I'm barely using a thing, and I'll bet someone else here has their heat cranked up all hours of the night." Liam's accusatory gaze fell on Marie O'Donnell, a single mother who lived just next door with her 3 children, aged 4, 7, and 10. Marie worked 2 part-time jobs to support her family and was barely managing to pay her bills each month. With her kids often at home, she indeed needed to use more heat, but she had tried to be as conservative as possible. Offended by Liam's implication, Marie pushed back. "Do you think I have money to waste on extra heat? I'm doing my best here, and my kids need to be warm. Maybe it's your old appliances that are eating up power." The exchange grew heated, with neighbors taking sides. A few tenants backed Liam, believing it was unfair for them to shoulder the costs for households with greater needs. Others supported Marie, arguing that families should be given more flexibility during the winter. But the dispute didn't end with just words. Adding fuel to the fire was Patrick Quinn, a young tech enthusiast and conspiracy theorist who lived alone on the floor above Liam. Patrick had a knack for stirring up trouble and saw the tension as an opportunity to get to the bottom of the estate's utility costs. His mind raced with suspicions and theories, and he became determined to expose the alleged power hogs among his neighbors. Patrick went out and bought a small, discreet security camera, which he installed in the communal hallway, just above the shared utility meter. He justified it as a harmless investigation, but he didn't inform anyone. Over the next week, he scrutinized the footage, looking for evidence. He noted that Marie's lights often stayed on late into the night, a sign, he believed, that she was using more than her share. Once he felt he had enough proof, Patrick called an impromptu meeting of the tenants, where he displayed clips of Marie's lights on after midnight. He used it to rally the neighbors against her, fanning the flames of distrust. Marie, however, was horrified at the invasion of her privacy. She hadn't expected to have her household routines put on display, and she felt embarrassed and cornered. Angered beyond words, Marie stormed up to Patrick's door and pounded on it. When he opened it, she shoved him, demanding he delete the footage and stop spying on her family. Patrick, never one to back down, retaliated, pushing her back. The altercation quickly escalated, with neighbors gathering around, watching in shock as the argument turned physical. When the Gardaí arrived, They broke up the scuffle and took both Marie and Patrick to the station. After statements were taken, both were charged, Marie for assault, and Patrick for breaching privacy laws by recording without consent. To complicate matters further, Liam, as the instigator of the conflict, was also brought in for questioning due to his role in stirring the argument. As the case went to court, the estate's seemingly minor issue of utility bills had spiraled into a public spectacle. In court, both sides had their say. Liam defended himself by claiming he was simply trying to uphold fairness, while Marie tearfully described her struggle as a single mother just trying to make it through the winter. Patrick, unrepentant, argued that his surveillance was justified, as it exposed what he believed was an unfair use of resources. The judge, a seasoned adjudicator who had seen his share of disputes, listened to the case with growing frustration. Finally, he ruled that both Marie and Patrick would serve a month in prison. Marie, because of her role in the physical altercation, and Patrick, for violating privacy laws. Liam, meanwhile, was fined heavily for instigating the dispute and was ordered to complete community mediation sessions to foster better relationships within the estate. The tension of the trial made headlines in local papers, and the Shamrock Meadows utility dispute became infamous across County Wicklow. The ordeal didn't just end with legal consequences. It also left a lingering mistrust among the tenants. Those who had once shared a community spirit were now wary of each other, and conversations in the hallway became brief and guarded. Some tenants even left Shamrock Meadows in search of a fresh start elsewhere. Following the ruling, the estate management decided to install individual meters in each home to avoid future disputes. However, the damage had been done, and the harmony of Shamrock Meadows was forever altered. The story of the small Irish estate's utility dispute became a cautionary tale, a reminder of how unchecked grievances over shared resources can spiral out of control, leading to loss, division, and even imprisonment. Certainly, the story of the Shamrock Meadows utility dispute offers rich insights from various perspectives. Here's an in-depth analysis. Property and facility management perspective. From a property and facility management angle, the issue at Shamrock Meadows underscores the importance of infrastructure planning and tenant relations. The shared utility meter system was initially a cost-saving measure for the estate, but was poorly suited for long-term community harmony. By relying on a single meter for multiple tenants, management inadvertently encouraged disputes, as it became difficult to allocate costs fairly. Infrastructure design. Shared utility meters in multi-tenant buildings can lead to unfair billing and friction among tenants, especially in cases where consumption varies. Individual metering or a transparent sub-metering system would have minimized these disputes. Tenant relations. Effective communication channels between management and tenants are crucial. Proactive management through regular updates, mediated discussions, or bill transparency could have diffused tenant suspicions early. Preventive measures. Property managers can reduce disputes by setting clear, fair policies on shared resources and facilitating open communication when grievances arise. Moral perspective. Morally, the story illustrates how conflicts over shared resources can erode community bonds and cause individuals to behave in ways they might later regret. The tenants' initial suspicion and resentment turned into a cycle of blame and retaliation, leading to a breakdown in their relationships. Personal responsibility. Each tenant has a responsibility to consider how their actions such as excessive energy use impact their neighbors in a shared space. Empathy and understanding. A bit of empathy, such as understanding Marie's struggles as a single mother, might have prevented the conflict from escalating. Communities thrive when members are willing to communicate and compromise. Guarding against assumptions, jumping to conclusions, as Liam and Patrick did, without evidence or discussion, can lead to poor decisions and damage relationships. Legal perspective. Legally, this case underscores the potential consequences of privacy violations, harassment, and assault within shared living spaces. Irish law, like that of many countries, upholds the rights of tenants to privacy and freedom from unwarranted surveillance. Privacy rights. Patrick's unauthorized use of surveillance on shared property infringed on tenants' right to privacy. A serious offense in many jurisdictions. Unauthorized recording, especially in shared living spaces, can have severe legal repercussions. Assault and harassment. Maureen's physical altercation with Patrick, however understandable her frustration, crossed into assault territory. Physical violence, even if provoked by emotional stress, carries legal consequences that can be avoided through mediation. Liability of property managers. The management company could face liability for not addressing a foreseeable dispute arising from shared utility arrangements. Inadequate conflict resolution processes can expose property managers to legal risks when tenants suffer due to management oversight. Lessons learned. The Shamrock Meadows story offers several takeaways that apply broadly to community living, property management, and individual conduct. Importance of fair infrastructure management should aim for infrastructure setups that prevent conflicts. Individual utility meters in multi-tenant estates may incur upfront costs, but save on long-term peace and tenant satisfaction. Communication is key. Open communication channels among tenants and with management can prevent small grievances from escalating. When a shared issue arises, it's essential to foster dialogue rather than suspicion. Seek mediation early, before engaging in self-driven investigations or confrontations. Residents should use available mediation resources. Early intervention by a neutral party might have prevented this case from escalating to legal proceedings. Consider the community impact. Individual actions, especially in shared living spaces, impact the entire community. Choosing to act respectfully and responsibly can uphold the peace and integrity of the community. In summary, the Shamrock Meadows story serves as a cautionary tale. For property managers, it highlights the importance of appropriate infrastructure and conflict prevention. For tenants, it's a reminder of the value of empathy, communication, and legal boundaries within community living. If you find this story enlightened, please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel for more content on property, facility and real estate management business tips. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. God bless you.